Okay, now we are going to do problem 29 on page 268. So go ahead and pause this and read what problem 29 is asking. So the basketball player has a 65% shooting percentage and has made 6 shots in a row. So then the announcer makes this comment about, she's in a zone, she's hot tonight. And we want to know, how unlikely is it if a player has a 65% shooting percentage and say they make about 20 shots per game, then is that unusual for her to make 6 shots or more in a row during a game? So that's the question that has to be addressed. So we're going to go through these 7 steps again. So the component to be repeated is we're going to see whether or not she makes the basket or not. So remember, she has a 65% percentage rate. So the component to be repeated is going to be making a shot. And then we're going to see how whether or not she made that shot. So to model the outcome, I'm going to this time I'm going to use the calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and let 1 to 65 mean that she makes it. And 66 to 100, she misses. So if I had been doing this with a table instead, I would want to use 00 to 64 because I'd want to use up all the digits in the table and 65 to 99. But with a calculator, it's not going to be as big of a deal because I can tell the calculator what numbers to choose from. So how am I going to simulate the trial? Well, this time we're going to simulate 20 baskets. So I'm going to have to use the calculator and select 20 numbers from 1 to 100. And then what am I going to do? Well, I need to know how often she made 6 in a row. So I need to see, I'm looking for strings of numbers that are between 1 to 65. So I need to look for strings of 6 or more numbers between 1 and 65. Now I want to point out that it doesn't really matter if it's more than 6 or 6 or more. It doesn't really matter how many. So out of that 20, I really don't care if it was 7 or 10 or 12. All I care about is 6 or more. So when I set this up, when I gather my data, I'm going to have 6 or more and less than 6, I guess I could say. So 6 or more or not. So really I only care about those 2 situations. So I'm going to do that when I gather the data. All right, so state clearly what the response variable is. So let's think about this one. We want to know the likelihood that she makes 6 or more shots in a row. So out of my 20 shots per game, let's look at the proportion of times she makes 6 or more shots in a row during a game. Now, I got the wording for this from the question. If you look at the question and look at the end of the last part of the question, that's where I got the wording. And that's a good place to get the wording. Run several trials. Okay, so we're going to get our calculator and we are going to run some trials. So, math, probability, number 5. So I want to choose numbers from 1 to 100 and I want to choose 20 of them. Now, I'm going to store these in L1, and my only reason for doing that is it's going to make it a little easier to scroll through the numbers, because this calculator doesn't really make it very convenient to scroll through the numbers otherwise. So now, after I've done that, now it's stored. Even though I see the numbers here, it's going to be easier, I think, if we go look at L1. And I'm going to scroll through the numbers. Now, remember what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 6 or more, less than 6. And I'm going to just make a little tally mark. So let's scroll down here. What I'm looking for are 6 or more that are between 1 and 65. So, no. Nope. So there's 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1. So yeah, every time you go over 65, you have to start over. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1. Nope. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that was the end of my list. So less than 6. So my first trial was I didn't have 6 or more in a row. So quit that, and I'm going to just do my up arrow and run it again. Okay, so now I have a new string of numbers, so I'm going to go check this. Now I'm going through an order. Now you can't sort them, obviously. It doesn't make sense to sort them because then you're changing the order. So that was a miss. Okay, makes it. 2, I'm counting how many times I make it. 3, 4, so there were 4 in a row, but then misses. So now I have to start over. 1, 2, 3, misses. Misses. Oh, wait, no, I guess so. Yeah. So, 1, 2, misses. Misses. 1, 2, misses. Okay, so another less than 6. Continue doing this. So I'm going to have you guys go ahead and repeat this. Now notice I said 20 times. So I'm not going to sit here on this movie and do this 20 times. I'm going to go ahead on my own and do that, and then report back my results. I'm going to use my other calculator too, because this is kind of a pain. So I'll come back and let you know my results. And you pause this and do your results. Okay, so here are my results. 5 times out of 20. 5 times out of 20, she got 6 or more in one. I just out of curiosity, one time she got 10 in a row on my simulations. There were a bunch of times where she had 5, which was kind of, for some of you may have been frustrating. Now, your results are probably different than mine. Some of you might have the same results. Some of you might have something vastly different. According to my simulation, 5 out of 20, or 1/4, so 25% of the time. So I'm simulating games. That's like saying 25% out of her, I did 20 trials of 20 shots per game. So 25% of the time, she got 6 or more in a game. So according to my simulation of 20 trials, 25% of the time, she made 6 shots or more in a row during a game. Now, 25%, that doesn't seem that unusual. This does not seem unusual. So to say that she got 6 shots in a row, that's not that unusual. She does that 25% of the time. based on her percentage record. So that's how you would use your simulation to answer that particular question.